Okay, we're going to talk about polynomial multiplication. So we need to understand first what a monomial is. So something like 5x squared y, it is a monomial because when pieces are held together with multiplication, they are one unit. A binomial would be something like that, where this is one term and this is another term. So a trinomial would have three terms. So something like this would be a trinomial where there's one term, two terms, and three terms. You can see that they're separated with adding or subtracting, okay? But as soon as something is multiplied with each other, it is connected and glued together. Okay, so here's an example. So we're going to multiply this monomial by this binomial. So we have to distribute the 5 into the parentheses. So that would be 5x and then plus 35. So 4x times x squared plus 7x. Okay, again, we have to take this and distribute it throughout the parentheses. So 4x times x squared is 4x cubed now, plus, so here is 28, and then x times x is x squared. Okay, another example. I'll do that. So here's a monomial times a binomial, another monomial times a binomial. So we're going to distribute through the parentheses, so x squared, and then this would be plus 7x. Then this times this is plus 8x plus 56. Okay, I'm actually just going to show you something different here. What if I'd had the same question, but that's what it looked like? Okay, so we would have x squared plus 7x, and then here's where people get tricked, is that I have to distribute a negative 8 through. So this would be negative 8x minus 56. Okay, it's the negative 8 that's going into that one. Okay, so that's a monomial times a binomial. So now let's do binomials. Okay, so here's an example. That's a binomial times another binomial. Okay, so you're going to do a system that we call FOIL. So it stands for first, outside, inside, and last. That's what the FOIL stands for. So I'm going to go first times first. So that's the first term and the first term. So x squared. And then the outside, so these are the outside terms. So plus 7x. So you can see that I distribute this x with all that. Now I'm going to do the insides. So the insides would be these two terms. So plus 8x. So now I got to do the last. So the last term and the last term is 56. So you can just see kind of the process was that I distribute this x through that binomial, and then I distribute the 8 through that binomial. You can see here all the combinations. I've paired everything with each other from the other binomial. Okay, and I'm just going to go further here because those are similar terms. They're like each other, so I can combine them. All right, next example. Okay, so same FOIL system. First times first, x squared, outsides, negative 7x, insides, plus 9x, and last, negative 63. And here too, I can put those two terms together. Okay, next. So the binomial is 3x plus 5 and then 2x minus 7. Okay, same system, FOIL, two binomials. So first, 6x squared. Outsides, negative 21x. Insides, plus 10x. Last, negative 35. Anything I can collect together? Those two. So negative 21 plus 10 is negative 11x. And there's my final answer. Okay, something different here. I'm going to go a binomial squared. Okay, so if you have a binomial squared, it means it's multiplied by itself twice. So for instance, like just 5 squared is really the same as 5 times 5. You just repeat it twice. So I'm going to do that. So I'm repeating it twice. Okay, and then I'm going to try the FOIL system. 25x squared. Outsides are negative 35x. Insides are negative 35x. And then last is plus 49. Those two terms I can put together. 25x squared minus 70x plus 49. So you can see, if you do a bunch of these, you'll see a pattern and prediction that this is always going to be this term squared, and this is this term squared, and then the middle term is always those two things times each other and then doubled. You see why it's doubled? You have an outside and an inside, and it's always going to double on these. Okay, next one, I'm going to do a monomial times a binomial times a binomial. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a number example here. If we had something like this, 4 times 2 times 3, how would you multiply that? You would multiply 2 of them first, and then by the last. Okay? Or, because multiplication doesn't matter if you multiply this times this first or that times that, you can go in any order. So I could have gone that times that, and then times it by that, and I still get the same answer. Okay? So I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay? So I'm going to times 2 of them together first, and then times the third thing. So to me, I want to multiply those two first. I feel like that's going to be easier. Okay? So x squared plus 5x plus 7x. So first, outside, inside, and then last. Okay, now I'm going to simplify this with those two being 12x. Okay, now I'm going to distribute the monomial through. So 4x cubed plus 48x squared plus 140x. Okay, so on this one, it's because I picked these two first. So I will try it in the other way, just to show you. What if we picked these two to multiply first? Okay, so we get 4x squared plus 28x. All of that, though, is now times by x plus 5. So don't forget, this would be a binomial that we'll have to put brackets around. Okay, so now we get 4x cubed outside 20x squared inside 28x squared, and last is plus 140x. Okay, and then you can combine those and you can see that we get the same answer. Okay, it's just really important to do 2, get that, and then times by the third. Okay. And the last example here. X plus 7. Okay, so a binomial times a trinomial. Okay, so the idea here is that I have to distribute the x through, okay? Then I will then distribute the 7 through. Okay, so here we go, x. We get 2x cubed, and then we get 5x squared, and then 7x. Okay, so we're done distributing the x. Now let's distribute the 7, so 14x squared plus 35x plus 49. Now you look for anything you can combine. So the cubes, no other cubes. Squareds, I have 2 I can put together, so 19. And that term and that term I can put together, so 42x plus 49.